In less than 48 hours, the opposition, the NPP, will head to the polls to elect a flag bearer for the 2028 elections. But concerns are now emerging over unprecedented levels of vote buying. We'll interrogate these concerns. All is set also for the Ayawaso East NDC parliamentary primaries following the allocation of ballot positions for the aspiring candidates. Also in the bulletin this afternoon, police arrest 7 suspects in highway robbery involving a Council of State member. Hello, good afternoon to you and welcome to News Central. I am Noble Crosby and we're live also on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. Let's get interactive there and start the bulletin from here. Hello and welcome to the program. The police have arrested 7 suspects in a highway robbery involving a Council of State member which occurred sometime last year. The suspect, identified as Rashida Yusuf, Ironabanga Batsiana, Rosling, Aberson, Montaro, Idrisu Mumuni, and Zebira, as well as Inusa Sumaila. There's also Haruna Safiano. They have all been arrested in connection with the crime. And a number of items, including 50 assorted mobile phones, 17 wristwatches, and ammunition, were also recovered in their possession. COP Lydia Yako-Donko addressed the media a while ago.
The police have arrested 7 suspects in a highway robbery involving a Council of State member, which occurred sometime last year. On 21st July 2025, the victim was traveling along the Tamale-Bupe highway when he was attacked by 6 armed men who robbed him of personal belongings, including mobile phones, some cash, wristwatches, reading glasses, a laptop, and other items. On 11 January 2026, following intelligence gathered by the CID, a team from the anti-armed robbery unit was dispatched to Salaga in the Savannah region. Suspect Aminu Zebrila admitted to selling the phone to Muntaro Idrisu for 650 Ghana cedis. A search conducted in the room of suspect Aminu Zebrila resulted in the retrieval of several items, including a locally manufactured shotgun, 1 locally manufactured pistol, 4 live BB cartridges, 1 locally manufactured sword with the inscription Birdman, 1 live 5.56 by 44 CZ ammunition, 2 live revolver ammunition, 1 face mask, 1 jackknife, a quantity of dried leaves suspected to be Indian hemp, 1 talisman, 1 cutter, 1 catapult, 15 assorted mobile phones, 1 Django motorbike, 17 assorted wristwatches, 5 pen drives, 1 Telecel SIM card, and 3 MTN cards which were removed from the phones that were snatched from victims during the robbery. Further investigations revealed that Aminu Zebrila is an ex-convict who was convicted of robbery in 2012. 2 other accomplices, Inusa Sumaila, also known as Agenda, age 42, and Haruna Safiano, age 32, were both subsequently arrested from their hideouts behind the Tamale China Mall. Police investigations are ongoing to apprehend other suspects believed to be on the run and to retrieve a weapon believed to be in their possession. Finally, let us adopt basic safety measures in our daily routines, stay alert in crowded places, and inform trusted individuals of your whereabouts. Any suspicious activity should be reported immediately to the nearest police station for assistance.
And from crime, let's now talk politics. This afternoon, Election Watch Ghana is warning against what it describes as possible unprecedented vote buying ahead of the NPP presidential primaries, which is only 2 days away. Now, the Election Observer Group says that the situation, if left unchecked, may gravely affect the integrity of the country's democratic process, which is under serious threat. In a statement issued on Thursday, January 29, 2026, today, the Election Monitoring Group said findings from its community engagements indicate that some candidates are allegedly deploying huge sums of money to influence delegates, their decisions. Let's walk you through excerpts of the statements from Election Watch Ghana, which was released today. And this is what they say, that their findings is showing that serious candidates are allocating substantial resources. And the key word here is substantial resources, reportedly between 150 to 200 million cedis cash. We're talking proper hard cash here to influence delegates' decisions through lavish offers, including hotel accommodations, transportation, feeding, and per diems. These are the ways in which the candidates are spending the money, and this is what they're calling as being in the same brackets as vote buying. Now, they add that such practices not only compromise the fairness of the election, but also jeopardize the unity and stability of their party and the nation as a whole. A reminder that this is an election of the NPP, but of course, what happens in the NPP ultimately will have some impact or some consequence on the nation as a whole, at least according to Election Watch Ghana. This is captured in their statement. Now, they say that they are urging the Electoral Commission to take immediate action to address these irregularities and ensure a level playing field for all candidates. Also, they are encouraging citizens to report any instances of vote buying to the Electoral Commission's toll-free number. And that number, you can see on your screen, is 0800 324 324, 0800 324 324. They are saying that all citizens should report instances of vote buying to the Electoral Commission's toll-free number, because they have called on the Electoral Commission to take immediate action to address these irregularities and ensure that the playing field is level for all the candidates going forward ahead of the NPP's presidential primaries. Well, let's still remain on the NPP subject, because the crucial presidential primary, it is coming across all the 16 regions of the country, and it is just this Saturday. Already, there are fears of possible cracks within the ranks of the party due to the intense campaigning and occasional jabs from the lead contenders in the race. Let's find out from Dr. Ali Yakubu Nyaba, who is a senior lecturer at the Department of History, Political Science and Public Administration of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Doc, thank you for joining us. Good afternoon to you. How will you assess the quality of the campaigning so far and how the aspirants have conducted themselves beyond the signing of the Peace Pact?
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your cherished viewers as well. And thank you very much for reaching out to me this afternoon to speak on this subject matter. All right, if you look at the trajectory that the election has taken, you will notice that it started gradually and then peaked at a point where people or the contestants spoke very hard languages on platforms, and eventually this tone started coming down, and then I am sure at a point the party and even the contestants themselves noticed that this is just the first phase of the election. The most important or crucial one is yet to come in 2028. And whatever that they thought to do, or whatever position they seek to win for their flag bearers will not be meaningful unless it's able to translate into victory for the NPP in 2028. So you notice that they started toning down and spoke about the life for the party after the primaries. And how it was necessary not to abuse political platforms to the extent that it cannot be mended after the primary. Yeah.
I see. And Dr. Ali, so with the few days to the polls, 2 more days, what kind of messaging will make any difference, if at all? And I'm talking about the leading aspirants. In fact, all of the candidates. What kind of messaging will make a difference in the minds of the delegates before the day of the election?
Yes, you will notice that in the last few days, apart from the fact that the contestants had to sign, I am sure there have been internal party efforts to conscientize the flag bearers and their spokespersons about the need not to use the platforms they have today to destroy the ambitions, the ultimate ambitions that the party have for 2028. So the message is the same, that this is just the first phase of the contest. The most important one, if you win elections as a flag bearer and it doesn't translate into victory in 2028, it's not worth it. So the message is pretty simple for all the flag bearers. If you actually want to gain something ultimately from this context, it is winning the elections in 2028 to become president. So this is just the first stage. You don't destroy, and then you will need everybody coming on board. At this particular point, the most important thing for the NPP after 2024 is unity. And if I were in the party, one of the things that I will be seeking from any of the candidates will be who has the potential to be able to unify the party and lead them to the 2028 elections. That is very, very crucial because it left the party divided in many fronts. I don't think this is a good platform for us to go into details. But you are aware that after 2024, the party has been left divided in many fronts. And the most crucial thing into the next phase is unity. And the candidate who has the ability to do this seems to be ideal going forward.
Dr. Nyaba, briefly from you, already there are concerns that some instances of vote buying are being recorded or will be recorded in the run-up to the elections and on the election day as well. From where you sit as a political analyst, can these make any difference for any of the candidates? Briefly, sir.
It is difficult for you to discount the impact of vote buying. Depending on where you are, the perspective you are looking at it, sometimes some people use their personalities to disregard it and claim that it is not possible for him or her to take money and then it will influence his decision. Unfortunately, this thing has been going on since 1992, and those who are very close to the political actions here in Ghana will bear testimony to the fact that somehow, sometimes it is literally bought with money at the last minute. A party or a candidate may be leading, then at just a point, somebody will do something regarding flashing out money, and it changes the fortunes of everything. That is why we listen to the polls, and we are not too excited about it because things can happen few hours to the election, and they can change the whole dynamics of whichever polls were credible or otherwise.
Dr. Nyaba, I'd like to thank you so much for your time with us on the program. Dr. Nyaba speaking to us there. He is a political analyst. And the last question that he responded to is that of a concern from many Ghanaians, as well as now from Election Watch Ghana. Election Watch Ghana is an election observer group. And what they're saying is that there is the possibility of unprecedented vote buying levels in the NPP primaries. Eric is the convener of Election Watch. Mark Ewusi-Ako is the convener of Election Watch Ghana. He's joining us right now to get into more of the subject. Mark, thank you for joining us. Good afternoon to you. Provide us with more details on the findings before we talk about how disturbing it is for the democracy we're all practicing here.
Wesley, a very good afternoon to you and to our cherished viewers. I think that from when we got to hear that the NPP is organizing to...
Unfortunately, we'll try and reconnect with Mark Ewusi-Ako, convener of Election Watch Ghana.
Their flag bearer on the 31st of deployed our...
Mark, I'd have to interrupt you because we lost you for a moment, and I'd like for you to start all over again so you can make your point properly.
Okay, so a very good afternoon to you and to our cherished viewers. I think ever since we had the NPP stating 31st of January as their day for electing their flag bearer, we, for the past 10 days, have sent our officers across 3 regions.
Well, unfortunately, the call keeps getting interrupted. But Mark, we'll try and reconnect with you again, and then we'll continue the conversation. But Mark Ewusi-Ako is convener of Election Watch Ghana, the election observer group that has raised concerns about unprecedented levels of vote buying in the NPP primaries. We're still staying on this subject. Now we're heading to the Ashanti region because one of the 5 candidates, and I'm talking about Dr. Osei Aduchum, we understand has been in the region. All of the candidates have been in the region. The latest is Dr. Osei Aduchum, and Ibrahim Obakar has been following the development, is joining us with some more updates. Ibrahim, thank you for joining us. What has been the message of Dr. Aduchum right now that he's in the Ashanti region?
Well, basically it has to do with voting for the delegates' vote. In fact, if you look at his message throughout, it's about improving the lives of Ghanaians and also delegates to be specific. He has a different national health insurance policy for the delegates who he said the party will be supporting them aside the main NHIS scheme. And he is also looking at introducing policies that will bring people out of poverty rather. So he says his campaign so far has been clean, and he is the only person who can be able to unite the party when he wins the flag bearer or going into the 2028 general election. In Ashanti region, for the past week, we've seen all the flag bearer hopefuls coming here to campaign, obviously because of the number of votes here. Because when you look at the table, you realize that Ashanti region has about 37,188 voters, followed by the Eastern region, 22,000. So you understand why the aspirant or the candidates keep coming here and trying to see if at least they are able to get even 50% of voters in Ashanti region. Then they will be able to gather some voters in the remaining region to be able to sail through. So campaigns, people, all the candidates, even though some of them are not here, but you find their base or their supporters vigorously campaigning, even though we have only 48 hours to the election. So campaign activities have been intense in the region, and everybody is expressing confidence that on Saturday, per the information they have gathered from the delegates, they will be giving the nod to lead the party in the 2028 election. Let's listen to what Dr. Yao Aduchum has been telling the media.
Did a campaign devoid of insults. I will be your unifier. I'm the one who can unify the party. But when you elect me, nobody's going to say because of what he said and how he insulted my leader, the person that I loved and voted for, I'm not going to follow him. So that is something good that I will assure you that we'll have a unified party going into the 2028 election. To my brothers and sisters, working people of Ghana, I believe that our nation must ensure that workers have livable wages. Livable wages are wages that take care of you and your family. You're able to take care of your family, pay fees and other things, and be able down the line to own a car, own a home. That is what happens in most countries that are emerging out of poverty. So livable wages is something that we need to work on as a nation. And I'm going to champion it, and I'm going to do it because it's the right thing to do. Ghanaians must prosper, and we need to increase productivity for the prosperity to happen. But there can be no increase in productivity without providing you the avenue and opportunity to be trained and to train yourself well, giving you vouchers so that you can gain skills. 21st century skills in the IT field, for example, is something that my government will pursue. Workers will be given the opportunity to train themselves well so that they can advance themselves and add value to whoever has been assigned to them at their place of work. I think I've also alluded to the fact that we have to eradicate poverty from the face of this country. Other countries have done it. If it's a very important goal and we work on it, we'll be able to do it. The idea that close to about 40% of the people are not working, or some who are working are still poor, I think is something that should concern us, and we need to do everything possible to eradicate poverty from the face of this country. Thank you.
Well, that was Dr. Yaw Adutwum, very sweet promises there. Ibrahim Boubacar is still on the line with me. Ibrahim, so Dr. Adutwum clearly wooing the delegates, but these are the same people that all of the candidates are communicating with. From what you saw today in the engagement between Dr. Adutwum and the delegates themselves, how did they respond or receive his message?
Well, Crosby, positive response. And like you said, these are the same delegates that the candidates go to. And anytime a candidate moves or to a particular constituency, you realize that the delegates are giving the person a rousing welcome. They are receiving the message, and the same delegates will tell you that we will be voting for this person. That's how come elections, someone will say it's never until it's over. So the same delegates, they have promised that looking at his demeanor, his style of campaign, his policies, they believe that he is the man who can lead the New Patriotic Party towards victory into 2028 presidential election. On the other hand, the others who have come, delegates have also been saying the same thing. But we are just waiting for Saturday, 31st January, when the delegates will speak. Then we will know truly who will be representing the New Patriotic Party in 2028 as their presidential candidate.
Clearly, we'll have to wait for Saturday. But before Saturday comes, for tomorrow and the morning of Saturday itself, what should we expect in the region?
Well, like I said, party activities or campaign activities rather have been intensified. You'll find groups moving from one constituency to the other and doing the mopping up. And we are told that tomorrow campaign will come down a little bit, but today they are moving from radio station to radio station, community to community. But then I've also seen even some vigilante groups of the MPP who have also come together to ask party members to ensure that Saturday's election be done in a violence-free manner. They are even, in fact, urging the police to arrest whoever comes there to disturb the election process. So you can see that uniformity when it comes to that, ensuring that there is a violence-free election on Saturday. But we are just hoping that people will walk their talk and the election will end in that manner.
Ibrahim, thank you. Thank you so much for that reporting. Ibrahim Boubacar speaking to us from the Ashanti region. This is still News Central, live also on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. We're going for a break. When we come back, it will be a good time to flip to the other side of the coin. And I'm talking about the NDC. Thank you so much for staying with us. We're still doing politics just now to the camp of the NDC because the stage is now set for the election of a candidate to represent the governing NDC in the Ayawaso East constituency parliamentary primaries following the successful voting of all 5 out of the 6 aspirants who picked forms to contest the party's primary scheduled for February 7. My colleague Nura Mohammed, she has been to the constituency to engage some delegates and voters ahead of the primaries.
Here at Nima in the Ayawaso East constituency with all 5 contestants, including the late MP's wife, Hajia Amina Adam, as well as the Ghana's High Commissioner to Nigeria, Baba Jamal, and also, interestingly, the constituency's chairman and some 2 others. The competition seems very tight. And so we're here to engage some constituents and some delegates to see who they're rooting for and why they choose that particular person to represent the NDC in the by-election.
I'm not going to vote because since I started voting, I'm voting for NASA. Since I started voting, but I never see nothing.
I'm with Hajia Amina, the late MP's wife. Yes. I'm with her because I wanted to come and continue the good work that the husband has left behind. And so far, the husband has done well in this constituency. He has done most of the work. And I think he has left about 13 projects that he needs to complete. And then God called him. So we wanted to come and continue those projects. We know her capabilities. The time for women relegation has passed. So this time, it's women supporting women.
As for me, I'm rooting for Honorable Baba Jamal.
Okay.
And my reasons are that, considering the political antecedent of this, our constituency, is the only person who has been able to change the face of the politics in East Ayawaso here, because he contested the last election and lost to the late MP. But even though he lost the election, he didn't leave the constituency. In fact, he was the face of the camp. For the first time in the history of this constituency, we saw youth. Motors were distributed to our youth to work for the party, and after that he has instituted a loan scheme. The MP wasn't working. If the MP was working and you tell me it's the wife that was behind him, that one fine. But the man is not doing anything.
Oh, why are you man be breast? Sanu kuna jumano enwie nti ade mo bia. Ejumano e be basa. Da no kura ne kunu ka baby kura. Na no ma na ye de ejumano. Na bi won ma ye nwie ya. Echira na omusisa na omanu ko. Echira na omusisa na omanu gu. Inside wonum. Nti na za de waye ade pa nti ma me no kura wonu mu na ejuma ne kunu so ya. Wonu ma ejuma ne kunu kura ne umfa no kura. On ko bebia say obi ka bebia na say awura na say bibi kura one a friend no akoye bibia.
The one I am in for is Baba Jamal, because formerly when he with the late McNaza stood, they contested each other. McNaza won election, and then Baba Jamal came second. You understand? So due to that, all of us, the youth here around, we prefer Baba Jamal. He contested in Akwetia. Yeah, we all know that. But due to his eloquence, the way he speaks, the way he organizes himself, that's why we, the youth here, we like him very much.
With the Ayawaso East constituency primaries just around the corner, which is on February 7, out of all the constituents that we've spoken to, the competition seems to be between the late MP's wife, Hajia Amina Adam, as well as Ghana's High Commissioner to Nigeria, Baba Jamal. And it is yet to be seen and determined who exactly the constituents and delegates would choose to represent the National Democratic Congress come March 3rd in the by-elections. Nura Mohammed for TV3 News, Accra.
Of course, trust us, your election command center to update you on all the happenings in the Ayawaso East constituency before, during and then after these parliamentary primaries of the NDC. Well, still on the account, chairman of the party, Johnson Asiedu-Nketia, has given the assurance that the NDC administration remains committed to delivering on its campaign promises. We were speaking at the Wassa Amenfi West constituency at the first stop of his thank you tour in the Western region on Wednesday. He added that every contractor selected under the Big Push initiative has been well assessed to ensure good delivery. Meanwhile, the regent of the Asante Kagwa divisional area, Nana Kwesi Adai, has appealed to the national chairman to ensure his community receives its first share of development.
The NDC National Chairman's 5-day working visit forms part of his thank you tour of the regions, intended to express the party's gratitude to its faithful supporters. He began his trip to the Western region at the Wassa Amenfi West constituency on Wednesday, January 28, where he assured that the NDC is committed to delivering on all its campaign promises. He added that all contractors involved in the Big Push initiative have been thoroughly vetted for their capabilities and capacity to carry out the assigned project, emphasizing that the administration will ensure value for money. This year, for all the road project contracts, we are implementing a thorough backdoor investigation of all bidders. This is to verify their credibility and technical capacity before any award is made. Our goal is to prevent a situation where a contractor wins a bid only to later sell the contract to another party. Such practices cause significant project delays and undermine accountability. The regent of the Asante Kagwa divisional area, Nana Kwesi Adai, appealed to him to ensure the community is not forgotten as the party works to fulfill its promises. We respectfully appeal to you regarding the critical state of our constituency's roads, a priority we emphasized during your campaign. We urgently request your intervention to prevent a repeat of the past cycle, where contractors begin with minimal effort only to abandon projects entirely. We need a contractor with proven capability and commitment, unlike the ongoing and unsatisfactory situation on the border to Asante Kagwa Road. As the chairman mentioned, we ask for your continued patience. Our NDC administration is committed to spreading development to every municipality and district via the Common Fund. We in Amenfi West have been fortunate to receive our share for much-needed projects, and we are truly grateful for this. Please bear with us as we work to ensure these developments are completed for the benefit of all. Irama Smith, TV3 News, Western Region.
Let's now talk about some other subjects. And the Ghana Federation of Allied Health Professional Workers Union and the Medical Laboratory Professional Workers Union at the Konebu Teaching Hospital, they have threatened to strike from February 4 due to lack of directors for some units under the laboratories department. They've accused the hospital management of a breach of Section 69 of the Labour Act, Act 651, and are demanding urgent redress of the issues.
For many years now, we have been asking for the opportunity to have our own directorate that takes care of us and that helps to promote whatever is allied health, for good governance, for accountability, for education, etc. That's all we have been asking for. Since time immemorial, we have been under the Medical Affairs Directorate. The nurses have their own directorate with their director. The pharmacists have their own directorate with a director. The doctors have their own directorate with a director. Currently, we are under the medical directorate, the doctors. The Javin General Services have a directorate with a director. Now we come to all these professions, and all we are asking for is give us also a directorate. Let's have a seat at the table of decision making.
The unions are asking for the appointment of a head of laboratory services and laboratory manager for the Korle Bu Central Laboratory, saying a further delay will cause the industrial action to happen.
We are giving management up to the 4th of February. If by the 4th of February we don't have a directorate and a director, we will lay down our tools. Yeah, so we'll begin next week, Wednesday, with a sit-down strike. We'll attend only to inpatients. Those already in admission, those on the wards, we'll attend to them. And we'll give them up to Sunday. On the 9th of February, which is Monday, it will develop into a full-blown strike. We will not listen to anything unless we get our direction.
Chairman of the Ghana Federation of Allied Health Professional Workers Union, Edem Ayem, also demanded the suspension of a possible privatization of the Korle Bu Central Laboratory pending engagement with the union.
Away from that, an average of 44 lives are lost every day due to terrorist attacks in West Africa, with about 8 attacks recorded each day within the sub-region. Now, this was revealed by Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, who noted that the sub-region has become the global hub for terrorism activities. The minister revealed this grim picture at the high-level consultative conference on regional cooperation and security in Accra, attended by security chiefs from member states within the region, including Burkina Faso, Guinea, Nigeria, and Mali, amongst others. The two-day conference is aimed at preempting and strategically confronting the threat of terror within the region.
The epicenter of global terrorism has moved from the Middle East to our region. We now account for at least 47 to 59% of all recorded global terrorism. The grave statistics continue that over the last 15 years, our region has seen an increase by 1,266% in terror attacks. And the death toll has also gone up by a staggering 2,860%. That is the grim reality we face. On my way here this morning, I received a call from my counterpart in Niger, indicating that they will not be able to join us this morning as they had originally planned because of an attack at their airport in Niamey last night, making traveling to Ghana impossible. So that is a reality. It's a daily, grim reality. And we cannot turn a blind eye because we are all at risk.
Indeed, a daily grim reality there that should be overcome within the shortest possible time. This is News Central. We're back with more stories after this break. Stay with us. Darkness for over 5 years, giving them a fresh start and a renewed sense of independence.
For farmers, traders, and elderly residents who had lived in darkness for years, daily life had become a struggle. Some were forced to abandon their farms because they could no longer see. Others depended entirely on family members just to move around and even recognize visitors. That reality changed when medical specialists arrived in Edra to provide free cataract surgeries.
This is a very big support. I, being the light of the body, if you don't have it, it's a big problem.
What I want to tell the doctors, may God bless them, give them strong knowledge and power to do the work for our nation.
The life-changing exercise was made possible through a partnership between Daybreak Vision Project and a Member of Parliament for Edra Sechedumase.
Vision impairment is something, like he said, that does not affect only the individual, but affects the community as well. You cannot lead a community of blind people, and for that matter, we have to take it upon ourselves. Once it's a curable disease or it is something that, surgery can take out, then we have to support to ensure that we restore sight to our people.
The exercise was led by Dr. Kwesi Ahmed, a consultant ophthalmologist at the Komfanoti Teaching Hospital, supported by a team of 5 specialist eye surgeons from across the country.
We usually will identify a community that has need. So our mission is to provide sight-restoring cataract surgeries for patients needlessly blind from cataract. In Edra here, there's no ophthalmologist. This hospital has only 2 ophthalmic nurses. And so we understand that the burden of cataract blindness is very high.
As patients leave the hospital with bandaged eyes and renewed hope, they are also regaining their dignity, independence, and a fresh start in life.
Now we take you up north because female students of the Northern School of Business in Tamale who were affected by a devastating fire outbreak on Wednesday, January 28, have begun leaving campus. School uniforms, mattresses and other belongings of over 900 female students of the school were devastated following the fire incident. Northern Regional Minister Adolph Lee John, in consultation with the Regional Directorate of Education, ordered all second-year students to go home for 1 week, while heavy affected students will also go home as well. The victims are also to receive counseling to aid them recover from the trauma before returning to school.
I got wind through the Regional Director of Education that fire had gutted one of the dormitories of the B school in Tamale. Quickly, I decided to call on my regional security to get in touch with the fire service to see what they can do at that critical moment. Though the fire service officials got here, unfortunately, at the time they could get here, the fire had gutted the whole dormitory. The good news is that not even a single student was in the dormitory as at that time. And so, in the midst of all this sad period, we still have to say a very big thank you to God, because none of our students was in the dormitory or hurt in any way at that moment. One thing that I can see, and everybody around me can see, is that everything, every property of every student within this dormitory capacity of 900 students has been burned down totally. Totally. It's a female dormitory. All the property, including the beds, you can see for yourself. They have not been able to remove anything. And so it's a very sad situation. Most of these students are final year students who are preparing to register for the AWASI.
Now, the Minister of Works and Housing has intimated that the Blekustu Coastal Protection Project is 25% complete as government intensifies efforts to curb the recurring destruction caused by tidal waves along the coast. The contract for phase 2 of the project has been awarded, with construction works already ongoing.
The Blekusu Coastal Protection Project intervention followed the displacement of thousands of residents in Sulakope, Agaveji and Amutinu in the Kedah South municipality due to persistent tidal wave activity. The Minister for Works, Housing and Water Resources, Kenneth Gilbert Ajay, speaking at the Government Accountability Series, outlined the government's commitment to safeguarding coastal settlements.
I am pleased to announce that the contract was awarded for the phase 2 of the Blekusu Coastal Protection Project. And in August last year, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana officially broke ground for the commencement of this critical project. Currently, the project is 25% completed.
According to him, through the Greater Accra Resilient and Integrated Development GARID project, more than 90,000 cubic meters of silt have been dredged from the Odo River.
Under the National Flood Control Program, my ministry has been implementing critical interventions to reduce flood-related risks. Notably, progress has been made in the construction, rehabilitation, and desilting of drains across various regions, thereby reducing flood risk in identified hotspots.
On measures to tackle the increasing housing deficits, he announced the rollout of the Greenville District Housing Program aimed at expanding access to affordable housing for low to middle income earners across the country.
In its pilot phase, the program has commenced in 8 districts, namely South Dai, Asojaman, Achimansa, Ajumako Enyan Esiem, Achima Kwangoma, Doma West, Bole, and Tamale, and at various levels of completion now.
The program is a district-level intervention designed to provide decent and affordable accommodation in line with the government's decentralization agenda and broader housing policy objectives.
Now, before we go, disaster response in Ghana often comes too late and mainly reactionary, from floods caused by choked drains and buildings in authorized areas to droughts following dry spells. Communities are repeatedly caught off guard as climate change and illegal mining place growing pressure on water resources. Questions are being raised about whether empowering young people with basic monitoring skills could help prevent future disasters. Samia Abu Adams has more here.
It has become a familiar cycle where action only comes after disaster strikes. Families are displaced, livelihoods are washed away, and years of hard work disappear in a moment. Each time, the destruction feels sudden, as though no warning existed, yet the signs are always there.
It's an attitude problem that demands change, and we need to move from working when the problem comes rather than anticipate the problem and make solutions available.
While climate change is increasingly taking a toll on the country's water resources, experts say there is a need to be proactive to avoid being caught off guard by natural disasters. But what measures can be put in place to ensure disaster risk reduction and climate change adaptation?
At the community level, when you talk to farmers, fisher folks, they come up with real concrete reasons or evidence as to why they also think that climate change is happening. So what we can do as a country is to put in measures to mitigate. And some of these measures are technology-based, some are nature-based. And we can only take these actions when we know what these measures are.
She believes that if communities are empowered with scientific knowledge and taught how to use data to anticipate possible incidents, real change could occur.
We need to build the systems, the mechanisms, making sure that we use technology and making sure that we also communicate to all masses, to the general public, on time, and also information that is backed by science to these communities so that they can take the right decisions.
For Annalise Mertens, citizen science will go a long way in bridging this gap.
It's complementary to more conventional data monitoring
techniques, and just by including the general public in this research, they're also more engaged and empowered for further capacity building.
The Youth Bridge Foundation believes that if young people are empowered, they can become agents of change.
This is in partnership with UNESCO and with their partners who have come all the way from Japan and South Africa to help teach what the young people can do in relation to even river monitoring. So we have all the variables that they can check in anticipation for flooding, in anticipation for disturbances that are resulting either from overflowing or from drought.
Some youth who are being trained in scientific and leadership skills to generate local data and support community-based climate adaptation spoke on the need for young people to be involved.
Well, we're grateful for spending the last 1 hour with us. That's it for News Central. There's always more news on our website, 3news.com. I am Noble Crosby Annan. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.